Let's see how to create a new blog on blogger.com and set it up. First, let's head over to blogger.com. The first thing we need to do is to sign in. Now, since blogger.com is part of the Google ecosystem, it uses the same credential system as Google. If you already have a Google account, you can use it to sign into Blogger. If you have, for example, a Gmail account or a YouTube account, it means that you already have a Google account. And the majority of people are going to have one of these, so simply type in your Gmail address, then click on Next, enter your password, and you will be signed into Blogger. Once we're signed in, we get this page. At the top, we get a warning that the visitors of our blog must be notified about cookies that our blog uses. Now, all blogger.com blogs use cookies, so Google provides us with a default warning. Unless you change anything that has to do with cookies, you should be okay, so I'm simply going to close this warning. Let's now create our blog on blogger.com. So I'll click here, Create Blog. We now need to choose a name for our new blog. I'll call mine Adventures of a Dog Trainer. And let's click on Next. We now need to choose a URL for our new blog. This has to be unique all over Blogger, so it might take a little while to find a URL that's not already occupied. Once you find one that is available and you're happy with, click on Save. And our new blog was created, and we can start editing it and create posts for it. But first, let's see how it currently looks like. To do that, we can click on View Blog. And it opened a new page where we can see how the blog looks like for visitors of the blog. We didn't create any posts yet, so at the moment it's empty, but in a minute we're going to have something here. By the way, notice that as a viewer, the domain you see is blogspot.com, but as a creator, the domain you see is blogger.com. Okay, so Blogger versus Blogspot. But eventually it's the same system and the same blog. It's only the front-end view versus the back-end view. So let's start by creating a new post for our blog. So, new post. First, we need to provide a title for our new blog post. Then we can simply click here and start writing the content of the post. For this demonstration, I'm going to use ChatGPT to write the post for me. Notice that even though I'm going to do it, I highly recommend against it. Using AI-generated posts with no editing on your side is considered plagiarism. Search engines such as Google are going to identify it as such, and websites that are mostly based on AI-generated content are for the most part ignored by search engines, which means that copying and pasting from ChatGPT is a great way to destroy your SEO, or search engine optimization. But again, for this demonstration, I'm going to do it anyway, just for the sake of simplicity. So let's open ChatGPT, and let's ask ChatGPT to write the blog post for us. Okay, so ChatGPT is done. What I'm going to do now is copy the post it created, then get back to Blogger and paste it as the body of my post. Now notice that we got this gray background. To get rid of it, I'm going to select everything with Ctrl A, then click here where it says Clear Formatting. And we now got the content as plain text. Now, every blog post should have one main heading, so let's write one. And to convert this text to a heading, I'm going to mark it, then change its type from normal to major heading. And as I said, your post should only have one of these, but you can have multiple headings of the other types, such as heading, subheading, or minor heading. So let's convert some of our text to headings. Again, I'm going to mark the area of the text I want to convert to a heading, then change its type. We can also change the font size for certain parts of the text. So for example, let's change the size of this text, and I'm going to make it bigger. So I'll click here, and instead of normal, I'll choose large. And now this text is larger. I can also choose some other text, then mark it as small. We can also change the style of the font. So for example, let's choose this text and we can make it bold, or we can make it italic, or we can use an underline. And of course, we can use the three of them together. Moreover, we can change the color of the font. So right now it's black, but we can replace it by many other colors, for example, this color. And now this part of the text has a different color. Another nice feature is the ability to add icons and emojis. So let's try some of these. I'll simply click here, and let's add a few of them. Let's now ask ChatGPT to write a short song about dogs. And let's copy this song and paste it to our post. Again, I'm going to mark the text I just pasted and clear formatting. Now, since this is a song, it might be better to use the centered alignment. So I'll simply choose the text, then I'll click here and choose Center Align. Another thing we can do is increase indent. And as you can see, it pushes all of the text to the right. Let's now say that we want an image to go along with our post. A good source for free images is this website, freepik.com. And let's look for an image of a puppy. We get many options. I'll go with this one. And now we can download the image. And I'll use the JPG format. Let's give a name to the image file. And let's get back to our post. And let's see how we can insert our image. So I simply click here, where it says Insert Image. Then I'll choose Upload from Computer. We need to click on Choose Files. Then choose the image we just downloaded. And once the image is uploaded to Blogger, we can select it, then click on Select. And here it is as part of our post. Now, an important thing to do whenever you add an image is to click on it, then click on the gear icon. And here we can provide an alternative text. This is important for people with bad vision, because many of them use tools that read the content aloud for them. Whenever an image appears on the page, the alternative text is red. Another thing you should be familiar with is the quote style. So let's get back to ChatGPT and ask it to explain a proverb for us. I'll now copy part of this explanation and paste it. Again, I'll clear the formatting. And what I want to do is put the proverb itself on its own line. Now I'll mark it. Then I'll ask Blogger to show it as a quote by clicking here. And it will show it a bit differently than normal text, which is not a quote. Once we're done writing our post, we can click on Preview to see how the post is going to look like. It opens a new page, and here we can get an impression of how the page is going to look like. We can also see how the post is going to look like on tablets or on smartphones. And if we want to change anything, we can get back to the editor, make the change we want, then click again on Preview. And this page is going to be updated, and we'll see the updated post. Before publishing the post, we should type in a few labels to help with SEO and searchability. And notice that I use commas to separate the different labels. Another thing we can do is click here where it says Permalink, and posts are always going to have this format for their URL. First, the name of the blog, then the year, and then the month. But what comes next can be changed. So by default, Blogger will use the title of the page as the URL. But if you want to change it, you can click here on Custom Permalink and type in the URL yourself. And now we can see that after the month, we have the name we wrote ourselves. Once we're done, we can click on Publish. And now we get a list of all of the posts that we currently have. And right now we only have one post, this one. Let's now take a look at the blog itself, which, as we said before, can be reached from here. And we can see that our blog now has some content. At the moment, only this post, which we just published. Let's create a second post. So again, I click here where it says New Post. Let's type in a title. And let's write the content itself. Now, if we get back to the list of posts, we can see that the state of this post is published, whereas the state of the second post is draft. So if we look at the blog itself, we're only going to see posts that are published, but we're not going to see the draft posts. To publish a draft, we can simply click here, where it says Publish. And if I go ahead and click on Publish, we can see that the post changed its state to published. And if we take a look at the blog now and refresh the page, we can see both of our posts according to the order in which they were published. And the most recent one is going to be at the top. We can get back to Blogger and click on Layout. Here, where it says Header, I click on the pencil. We can change the title of the blog if we want to, and we can also add a description. And you can also provide an image. So let's get back to freepik.com and let's find an appropriate image. I'll go with this one, and again I'll download it. Now I'll choose Upload Image from Computer, and I'll choose the file. Let's save. And if we get back to the blog itself and refresh, we can see our image over here. And as you can see, the title is now hard to read. Let's see how we can fix that. So let's get back to Blogger. And now I'll click on Theme. And here is the theme we're currently using. So I click on Customize. And here I'll choose Advanced. And what we want to change is the blog title. So here I'll choose Blog Title. And for the color, I'm going to change it. And now it's much easier to see. So let's click on the Save icon. And if we take a look at the blog itself now, we can see the updated color of the title. Another important thing to know is the concept of pages. So the difference between posts and pages is that the role of posts is to hold the content of the blog. So whenever you want to publish any piece of content, you're probably going to do it as a post. Pages, on the other hand, are part of the structure of the blog itself. They rarely change and they are accessed differently. So let's create such a page. I'll click on the Pages tab and let's create a new page. As an example, I'll create an About Me page. This is a good example for a page as opposed to a post, because this is something that can be considered as part of the website itself and should always be easily accessed. So let's ask ChatGPT to write an About Me page for a dog trainer. And again, I'll copy the text and paste it as the content of the page. Let's clear the formatting. And let's also add an image. Since I want to use an image that I already uploaded before, I can click here on Blogger. And here I can find all of the images that I already uploaded. So I'll choose this one and select. And let's publish the page. But if we get back to the blog itself and refresh it, our new page is nowhere to be found. And that's because Blogger will only list here the posts and not the pages. A common way to allow access to pages is to create a designated menu. To do that, let's get back to Layout. And here I'll scroll down a bit and you can find the Page List Top option. So let's click on the pencil over here and let's call it Important Links. And what I'm going to do is add a new item. And if I click on Page Name, I get a list of all of the pages I have on my blog. Notice that posts do not appear here, only pages. So let's choose the About Me page. And the URL was filled in automatically. And we can click on Save. Let's click here to show this widget and save. And if we take a look at our updated blog and refresh it, we can see that we now have our important links. So we have our home page, which is this page, and also the About Me page. And if we click on it, we actually get to the About Me page. And this page is always going to be accessible from every page on the blog.